Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Monday, November 30th, 2020. Deutsche Welle report. Former South Korean president sentenced to prison. Former South Korean President Chun Doo-Hwan was sentenced to 8 months in prison and a 2-year suspended sentence on Monday for defaming democracy activist and Catholic priest Cho Chul-yun. The 89-year-old former president called Cho Chul-yun a liar and Satan in a memoir that was released in 2017. Cho said he saw people firing at civilians from helicopters during 1980 demonstrations in the southwest city of Gwangju, where the president's trial was held.
CNN report. France's ruling party promises change in controversial proposed security law. French President Emmanuel Macron's ruling party on Monday promised to change the flagship measure of a proposed security law, which would restrict the filming of police officers, after the provision sparked large protests for infringing on free speech and police accountability in the country. It is because we are resolved to protect our police forces and to do so without ambiguity, but also to remove doubts and misunderstandings that we are therefore going to propose a complete new wording of Article 24.
CNN report. Baltimore County public schools are closed again due to ongoing investigation into a cyberattack. A ransomware attack has Baltimore County public schools closed to students again. After the issue forced a cancellation last week, the district posted the news on its Facebook page over the weekend, informing parents that schools would be closed Monday and Tuesday as officials worked to figure out what was impacted. Our focus today and for Monday and Tuesday is identifying and addressing student and staff device needs so that instruction can continue, the post said.
Fox report. Houston police investigate after missing influencer found dead on side of road. A young woman who had a large following as an Instagram influencer has been found dead on the side of a West Houston road, a day after she was last seen leaving her home, according to reports. Houston police had been looking for 26-year-old Alexis Lee Sharkey when they found a woman's body Saturday on Red Haw Lane. Police said a medical examiner on Monday confirmed that the body was Sharkey's. Casting further mystery as to what happened was the revelation from police that the body had no visible wounds.
Al Jazeera report. Top U.S. court seems skeptical of Trump citizenship census plan. Conservative U.S. Supreme Court justices on Monday appeared reluctant to issue a ruling immediately blocking a plan by President Donald Trump's administration to exclude undocumented immigrants living in the United States from the population totals used to allocate congressional districts to states, even as they appeared skeptical of the plan itself. The court's conservatives, who hold a 6-3 majority, signaled that such a ruling might be premature based on the administration's admission that it does not know how or if it will be able to implement the proposal, a facet of Trump's hardline policies on immigration being pursued in his final weeks in office.
Al Jazeera report. Turkey tightens coronavirus curbs as death toll hits record high. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan has announced a new round of tight restrictions in a bid to stem a surge in coronavirus infections, extending curfews to weeknights and imposing a full lockdown during the weekend. After only reporting symptomatic cases for 4 months, Turkey last week resumed reporting all positive COVID-19 cases that saw logged daily infections jump to about 30,000. On Monday, the number of daily new cases reached a record high of 31,219. While the COVID-19 death toll hit a record high for an 8th consecutive day, with 188 fatalities in the last 24 hours, according to figures from the Health Ministry.
Fox report. Seattle area program will pay victim restitution using taxpayer dollars, some criminals to avoid jail time. A new program by a Washington County prosecutor's office would allow for certain crime victims to be paid restitution directly from a fund established by the agency, and said to be supplied by taxpayers, instead of waiting for the alleged criminals' cases to play out in court, according to officials and a report. The King County Prosecutor's Office recently established a program that would include the reimbursement of a certain amount of restitution toward victims of certain kinds of crimes earlier on in the criminal justice process, rather than waiting for the offender to pay up, which, according to County Prosecutor Dan Satterberg, could take months if not years, Como News reported.
CNN report. New Zealand officials file charges over deadly White Island volcano eruption. New Zealand officials have filed charges against 13 parties that allegedly failed to meet their health and safety obligations when visiting an active volcano which killed 22 when it erupted last year. White Island, which is also known by its Maori name Whakaari, is an active volcano off the coast of New Zealand's North Island. It was a popular tourism destination before it erupted in December 2019, killing local guides and visitors.
BBC report. Brazil's Amazon deforestation surges to 12-year high. The rainforest lost 11,088 square kilometers of its vegetation between August 2019 and July 2020, marking an increase of 9.5% from previous 12 months, INPE's data shows. Scientists say the Amazon has suffered losses at an accelerated rate since Jair Bolsonaro took office in 2019. The Amazon is a vital carbon store that slows down the pace of global warming. Since taking office nearly 2 years ago, Mr. Bolsonaro has encouraged the expansion of agricultural and mining activities in the world's largest rainforest.
Deutsche Welle report. Coronavirus. Germany to create 19 medical storage facilities for future emergencies. The German government agreed on Monday to set up 19 locations for medical gear storage in order to avoid the lack of masks and other protective equipment faced by most of the world at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Angela Merkel's government plans to spend around €1 billion $1.2 billion next year creating 19 national health reserves around Germany to ensure Europe's leading economy is better prepared for any upcoming health crisis, Health Minister Jens Spahn said.
Fox report. Killing of Iranian nuclear scientist has region, world leaders on edge over potential retaliation from Iran. Less than 3 days after top Iranian scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was slain in a daytime military-like ambush in Tehran, he was laid to rest in the courtyard of the country's Imamzada Salah Mosque. Despite his death, the debate over Iran's nuclear program is far from over. Officials in the Islamic Republic were quick to blame the killing, said to have been caused by electronic devices, on Israel, with President Hassan Rouhani proclaiming that this brutal assassination shows that our enemies are passing through anxious weeks that they feel their pressure era is coming to an end and the global conditions are changing.
Fox report. Row over, repugnant, tweet by Chinese official showing fake graphic photo of Australian soldier. Wellington, New Zealand. Australia's Prime Minister said Monday that a Chinese official's tweet showing a fake image of an Australian soldier appearing to slit a child's throat was truly repugnant and merits an apology. China said there would be no apology. The incident is further souring already tense relations between the two nations. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said he was seeking an apology from the Chinese government after Zhao Lijian, a spokesman for China's foreign ministry, posted the graphic image that shows a grinning soldier holding a bloodied knife to the throat of a veiled child, who is holding a lamb.
Deutsche Welle report. Angela Merkel. No deal Brexit would send a bad signal to the world. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said on Monday that it would send a bad signal to the world if a Brexit trade deal could not be reached, as an EU negotiating team stayed in London for additional talks. With just 1 month remaining for the European Union and the UK to come to an agreement, Merkel told a virtual gathering of parliamentarians from across the continent, Britain and the EU share common values. If we failed to reach a deal, it would not send a good signal.
Al Jazeera report. Croatian PM Andrej Plenković tests positive for COVID-19. Croatia's Prime Minister Andrej Plenković has tested positive for the coronavirus but is feeling well, his cabinet has said, as the country hit a new record COVID-19 death toll. Plenković, 50, who has led Croatia since 2016 as head of the right-wing HDZ party, started isolating 2 days ago after his wife contracted the coronavirus. He had initially tested negative but a new test on Monday was positive, the cabinet said in a statement, adding that he would isolate for 10 days.
BBC report. Biden to nominate Janet Yellen as U.S. Treasury Secretary. If confirmed by the Senate, she would be the first woman ever to hold the post. She was among several women chosen for top economic positions. The Biden transition team said others were set to break racial barriers if confirmed. Mr. Biden has pledged to build a diverse administration. He earlier appointed an all-female senior press team. Mr. Biden's transition team said his picks for senior economic roles would help lift America out of the current economic downturn and build back better.
CNN report. Biden set to receive first President's Daily Intelligence Brief Monday. President-elect Joe Biden marks a milestone on his path to the White House Monday when he gets his first President's Daily Brief, the intelligence community's collection of secrets, intelligence, an analysis about long and short-term threats U.S. leaders need to know to run the country and keep it safe. President Donald Trump, who has refused to concede the election, relented only last week on his initial refusal to allow Biden access to the nation's most vital intelligence, a tradition based on U.S. national security interests to ensure the election's winner and their incoming team are as ready as possible to cope with global threats and challenges.
BBC report. Kimchi ferments cultural feud between South Korea and China. Last week, global industry standards body ISO posted new regulations for the making of pao kai, a type of Chinese salted fermented vegetables. Some Chinese media crowed that it affected kimchi, prompting a clarification from South Korea. It's the latest cultural spat between the neighbors. There are many types of kimchi, a spicy pickle dish normally made using cabbage. Kimchi is often served in China under the name pao kai, but China has its own variant of the dish which it also calls pao kai.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.